Sono parole. Hello.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and start our meeting a few minutes early. I know that we have a few more individuals who are going to be joining us. We have 2 out of our 20 who are not able to attend, and that's right, I did say 20. We have 20 candidates who are going to be engaging in the year-long residency for the fall to spring semesters. So anyway, we do have a lot to talk about. I promise you that I'm only going to be an hour, so I will keep my comments to myself to some extent, and I'll try to be brief. And of course, give an opportunity for you to answer questions at the end, because I know that you will have various questions. So this evening is going to essentially go pretty much like this, that right now everybody's on mute. So if you're coming in, you are muted, you're not able to respond. And that's just temporary, just for the few moments that I can go over everything and everybody can hear everything. If by chance you want to mute things in the background like cell phones, TVs, vacuums, spouses, kids, mute. If you can do that, great. If you can't, I totally understand. But anyway, it does help in terms of the process and the meeting to have, at some form, a quiet background so that it doesn't interrupt in terms of the presentation. We'll go over a variety of things this evening, giving you details as to steps, your steps, timeline, having discussion on those timelines, and as to what you can expect, what it is that we're going to be doing for you and providing to you over the course of the next few months, leading into, of course, the fall semester. So I'm going to, right now, as I look through, I think we're almost all here. So I'm going to go ahead, I am going to unmute you, and I'm just going to go ahead and introduce everyone so everyone knows who you are, because eventually, as a group, you are going to meet together. We are going to meet all together during the summertime, and it is going to be a good idea for you to start engaging in conversation. One of the benefits of the program, obviously, is to collaborate and work together as peers. So let me unmute you all, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody. Okay. There is a little feedback. You can hear that. So what that means is someone's mic and also phone might be on at the same time. Meaning like their computer system has a webcam or a microphone and they're using the telephone at the same time and there's feedback or reverb. Okay, so I am going to start. We have the following individuals with you. We have Allison Joswick, Amber Brellahan, Anastasia McGovern, Cassandra Van Dyke, Danielle Bobb, DJ or Derek Long, Erica Kibblehouse, Aaron Furman, Heather Pomper, Joshua Holt, Kristen Brown, Lauren Neild, Leah Harrington, Megan Weber, and of course, Dr. Sandra Countley is with us this evening as well, as she is a coordinator for the year-long residency and working with me closely as to and providing information about the year-long residency. Did I miss anyone else?
Yes, Karen Kelly's here too.
Hi, this is David Faulkner.
Wonderful, thank you. So on our screen, I'm going to go ahead and provide some information as to what we're going to be doing over and what we're going to be discussing for the next hour. This information you did receive in email, but I also wanted to share it with you tonight so we can go over it in detail. And more importantly, so that we can go over structurally, so we can go over into specifics, what the steps are as to this current meeting for you as a student versus the structural timeline between now and leading into the summer and to the fall. So most of you have gone over this information for your student steps. The majority of you have contacted me or asked questions as to these things, but let me just verify a few things with you so that we're all on the same page as to what you should be doing and where we're going. So you did receive in email form this particular document called the coursework verification. It provided to you an overview as to the undergraduate programs for our birth to second or K to 6 and what it is candidates would be taking during their time frame of the year-long residency. It also provided an overview for our middle level, the graduate MEE at the elementary level, the secondary level, and for our one candidate who's MSc or special education, that coursework structure is just a little bit different, and we can certainly communicate as to the time frame, the structure of that, and we certainly will. However, this does provide you a framework with, if you will, as to a couple of things. One, the coursework in which you will be registering for eventually, and we will go over that. And more importantly, what is facilitated by the mentor teacher at the school site, meaning those of you who are in the undergraduate, birth to second, K to 6, and the elementary education graduate MEE program, your mentor teachers will be facilitating your Practicum 3, your methods coursework, that occurs in the fall, if you will, if you want to break it into semesters so it's easier to understand. And then during the spring, they facilitate the clinical assessment course and, of course, student teaching. But what we need to get away from, what I want you to think out of the box, if you will, is that this is not structurally a 3-credit course, meaning your practicum, even though it's a 1-credit course, and your 499 as a 3-credit course, it's not going to be taught like that. And I know that we talked about this in depth. We talked about this earlier as a group and during our meetings. However, I would like for you to understand that the mentor teachers at the school site are facilitating the experience and facilitating the content that are within those courses that you will be registering for. So some of you, as I have begun to review your particular transcripts, I've gone into detail, I've looked at your transcripts, I've reviewed your information. Some of you, you may have taken a particular course that is on this particular list. And that's okay. Meaning, for example, someone may have taken already EDU 403, and that's absolutely fine. That is not an issue. You're still going to have to complete some of the work that is connected to the facilitation of this methods course, because in nature it is different than the course that you've already taken. But it's not something you wouldn't be doing anyway, because it's part of the experience. It's part of the learning experience. So essentially, breaking this list down from the undergraduate K-6, middle level, elementary, secondary level, I'd like to stop for a moment. And if you have a question as to the structure of the verification of your coursework, whether it's something you've done or I have done personally, and we're ready to share that with you later on after this meeting tonight, I'll email out some information to you. Does anybody have any questions as to the particular coursework that was sent to you? I'm going to go ahead and assume that nobody has any questions.
If you've already taken all of the methods courses, so like I've already had all the methods courses at Dell Tech, so how would that work
Sure.
for the...
And that's actually very interesting. And please introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm Danielle Bob. So when I got my associate's degree at Dell Tech, we did all the methods courses already, and they all transferred over.
All the methods courses transferred over, Danielle? Let me verify that for us here. Sorry, let me jump out of one thing and jump into another. And that's something I have to check. So EDU, Danielle. Danielle, I'm going to have to check on that for you. It's not going to be an issue, Danielle, as to your let me put it this way. It's not going to be a concern for you necessarily in participating in the year-long residency, meaning you're still eligible. Right. The issue there is you're still going to be required to do the work that everybody else is doing, obviously, right, in the site, meaning right. All of the methods, facilitation of methods, the building of units, the teaching of those units, the interaction with the mentor teacher and planning and so forth, you're still going to engage in because you would naturally do that anyway.
Right.
Because it's a more hands-on experience. But the flip side of this is, and I guess what I should answer you specifically is, no. If you've already taken that and you've already completed it and it's transferred over, you do not need to sign up for it again and pay for the course and so forth. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I think that answers your question, yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay, very good. Thank you, Danielle. Any other questions as to your particular coursework structure?
So even though it's broken up into different courses, we're still doing pretty much all of it all at the same time?
This is a great question. And who am I speaking to?
My name's Erin Farman.
Hi, Erin. Good evening. So the answer is yes. If you will, we've broken it down in what you see in front of you so it assists you, the candidate, in the form of registration. You still need to register for particular coursework, obviously. And obviously we want to break it down into that structure because many of you are utilizing financial aid. And because of that, we want to maintain the 12 credit structure. That's an obvious for all of you. But you are correct, Erin. You are not specifically going to say, well, now is time for EDU 402, right? Or now it's the time for me to do Practicum 3. It's not that way. This is more of a free-flowing facilitation of the particular content in what we like to call competency-based learning. All right, and that's probably a bit of a new term, but you may have heard it before. But it's essentially, if you think about it this way, you're learning as you're going, and as you achieve your skill set or you've learned that particular aspect, your mentor teacher, through the work and task stream and other areas, will acknowledge your completion. You will still receive a grade for the course. And let me break this down a little bit further so everybody understands why this is extremely important. And I will just, it's here on the screen. Let me just use the undergraduate, not of course for the graduate courses. Your guys are just as important. I'm just right here. A very good example is the highlighted what I'm doing right now for EDU 451. EDU 451 at the undergraduate level is student teaching. The reason why I'm pinpointing this is on your transcript, the state of Delaware and every single state in which is going to look at your transcript for licensure and certification needs to have a course that clearly is labeled student teaching. Every state in the nation has its own various licensure and requirements. I will say this, every state though does look at transcripts and it needs to designate particular areas. Another, as a good example, would be the methods courses such as EDU 403 and 402. That needs to be on the transcript. It needs to show the Department of Education, whether it be Delaware or New Jersey or PA or Maryland, it needs to show that you took the appropriate coursework in your content area. And that's why we haven't made it into competency-based kind of framework. We still left it within the structure of a course because, quite frankly, the Department of Education still need to see it that way on the transcript. So, Aaron, you're right. It's facilitated, it's expanded, it's competency-based, but on your transcript, it still needs to be broken into those respective pieces and parts. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah, so regardless of whether we're doing the residency or each class separately, it's still going to show up on the transcript the same way?
Exactly. Absolutely. Now,
Okay.
there is a difference. There is a difference. On your transcript, and I'm just going to show it here on the screen. For example, I'm going to break, sorry, excuse this. You'll see for our undergraduate and everyone else as well, you'll see your call sign, meaning this particular course is EDU 392. And then you'll see the designation of YLR. For the state of Delaware, that's a designation of a year-long residency. Now, we put that there on purpose because the state of Delaware is extremely interested in following the candidates who completed the year-long residency. They want to see how well you're doing. So they've already started looking at our candidates from the first pilot. They're already coming. Actually, we're doing that tomorrow unless it snows. We're visiting North Dover Elementary tomorrow with some state of Delaware representatives because we're going to obviously see how well they're doing. And this is the issue, Aaron. You're right. It still will say practicum. It'll still say methods. It'll still say student teaching and so forth. But it will give a designation of YLR, year-long residency. But it does have that nomenclature. It'll definitely state it clearly what the state's looking for.
So if you've already taken the courses like I did, is it still going to have the YLR next to it?
It will only state the YLR next to the courses that are connected to the courses that you're going to be taking. So if you obviously will still do student teaching, you still have to take that, Aaron, and you have to sign up for that. That particular course will say YLR next to it. But if you've taken a course already, like a methods course already, that's not part of something, or you've already done it prior, it will not say YLR. But by the pure fact that your student teaching will have the year-long residency designation, the state will know that you've completed a year-long residency. In addition to that, we're working with the registrar's office to identify if there's a possibility, which they are in agreement with, that on your transcript, there'll be verbiage, some wording saying this candidate has completed a year-long residency.
And Tyler, it still will also say that for practicum too. The practicum 3 course will have a YLR next to it.
Yes, yes, that is correct. Aaron, that's a very good question, and thank you for bringing that up. Are there any others as to the coursework structure?
Yes, this is Heather Pomper. I had it currently registered for the one of my methods classes, so I should go ahead at this point and drop that and just hold it till fall.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and good evening, Heather. Glad that you joined us. That is correct, and I have spoken to one or two of you as well in the interim, as well as to coursework and sorry, excuse me, and dropping it, making sure that you had it. All right, very good questions. Please, are there any others?
Is Anastasia on? I know she had a question about registering for student teaching.
Yes,
Anastasia?
Anastasia.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, please, Anastasia.
Hi. I had asked about if I needed to fill out the application on TaskStream.
No, all of you who are participating for the year-long residency do not need to fill out that application. You are already on our list identified as candidates for year-long residency. Your names have been distributed not only within the College of Education and the Office of Clinical Studies, but your names have already been distributed to every principal at the residency sites, and all the mentor teachers already have your names and information.
Okay, so I shouldn't go get a background check again?
Oh no, yeah, I was going to hit on that this evening. That's a great,
okay.
that's a very good question,
Okay.
and we will get there. I promise we'll get there. It's a great question.
Okay.
All right, very good. Others? Any other questions as to the coursework structure?
Just to clarify, it's Erin again. Just to clarify what Anastasia was saying, what should we not apply for on TaskStream?
Sure, that was it. No, the fall 2016 practicum application, and then of course in August 1st would be the deadline for the spring 2017 student teaching application. None of you need to do any of that.
Okay.
And if you have, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. All right, because I had emailed you a while ago asking, and you said that I should still go ahead and apply for Practicum 3 at that time.
At that time, that's true, because we weren't 100% sure, but yeah, now we are, and that's fine. And don't worry, it's as easy as removing you, which we have already, obviously, from the list, Erin, as to the Practicum and student teaching, so not a problem.
Awesome.
Very good, very good, very good. All right, let's move on then. Jumping back, I know we must sound like a broken record here, folks, so I'm so sorry. Praxis 2 obviously is a critical component here. Now this does not mean if you have not passed Praxis 2, if you're planning, wonderful. If you're going to take it during the summer, phenomenal. Now let's be clear. This past year-long residency, we had 2 candidates who did not pass the Praxis 2 until October. So they were well on their way in the experience. They started in August just like everybody else. And we gave them that accommodation as to passing Praxis 2. So I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to get relaxed, okay, because you got to get in, you got to get it done. But I want you to feel comfortable and confident that if you need some extra time, we understand. But it would be beneficial for you as a candidate to have that done. And I'm going to say this in this capacity. Right now, we feasibly might have a candidate downstate in Sussex County that might be offered a job and they're nowhere near done their residency. And because that individual has passed Praxis Core 1, Praxis 2 content area, and special education, this person is in the eyes of the state certifiable and eligible for what we call provisional license, which essentially, because she passed Praxis 2, there's that flexibility factor. So I want you to focus in on these things. This is an absolute opportunity for job placement and job opportunity if it opens up. I'm not saying it will, but it's abound within the program. So you've got to make sure that if you haven't planned for it, start planning it. If you need some assistance and guidance, let us know what we can do for you. A note about special education praxis. I know that all of you have either seen the email from Al DiMedio or Dr. Jim Boyd as to the changes within the state of Delaware and their licensure certification area within special education. And in addition, that just the examination for Praxis 2 special education after July 1st will not be the only thing you need, obviously, to be dual certified. If you are in the K-6 program at the undergraduate level, you meet the expectations per the coursework embedded in your program for dual certification. Unfortunately, everybody else, my recommendation to you is as follows. A, make sure you communicate to your program advisor, either Dr. Boyd or Al D'Amedio, or for MSc, Donna Mitchell, and talk to them as to the coursework, any additional coursework that you may need to take so you meet the state of Delaware's new guidelines and new requirements for licensure and certification, dual licensure and certification. In addition to that, which would then be B, looking at the Special Education Praxis 2 exam. Now, I hope I didn't confuse anybody, so let me stop there. What questions do you have? All right. If you do have questions, don't hesitate to email me or your program advisor. So I will, and I say this to all of you. If I could say it to every single student, I would. I do, but I individually, I'd love to. I'm on the committee for all HR directors. We meet monthly. There's also quarterly meetings and things like that. I'm telling you right now, out of the horse's mouth, every HR director in the state of Delaware, the first thing that they look at, other than the fact if you're certifiable and have your license, is to see if you're dual certified. The hiring arena is requiring this. So if you don't have it and you hadn't planned on it, contact your program advisor. Okay. The next, which I know many of you have done, which is your graduation competencies, making sure that you're reviewing task stream, all of those items that are connected to your particular program, the coursework, the SEAs that were due for particular courses in task stream. Please, if you haven't done that, go in, verify that everything is submitted and scored. If you're missing something, I sent an email to you, if you remember last month, with a little sheet that said who you need to contact. If you're still confused, which I understand, reach out to me. I'm glad to sit down and talk to you or have a phone conference, whatever works for you. All right, the last part, which is your student steps for you as a student in preparation between now and May, is actual registration of your courses. Now, the way this will work is none of the courses that I showed you on the prior form will be open to you. They are permanently closed. The reason being is we don't want anyone other than the 20 of you to register in these very special courses. These are only for you. And as such, you will be required to complete a drop ad form. It's a classic ad form per the university. Around April, or a little bit earlier maybe, depending on our time frame with the registrar's office, I will send to you, each of you individually, an ad form and also the list of courses that you need to enroll in. And we'll start with the fall semester. This will begin on May the 2nd. You as the student, because you're participating in the year-long residency, all have the benefit of receiving the lowest possible tuition for all of you. Okay, so and that's per the dean, and that's per the College of Education, and also the university. We recognize the amount of work that you're going to be doing, and so you will all, it'll be one flat fee. You will see this on your transcript. I mean, your sorry, not your transcript, but your goodness, your bill, for lack of a better word. Sorry, but essentially the way this will work is April, earlier than if I can, I'll send to you individual a drop add form, your list of courses. That will be for fall. You'll fill this out. You can either scan it or you can take a picture of it on your smartphone or smart device, email it to me. I will verify, making sure that it's accurate, and then I'll send it to the registrar's office. They will then register you into the year-long residency courses. This has to occur, obviously, between the May 2nd date and when before you actually step foot into the classroom in August, which, of course, the timeline we'll get to. Does that make sense? Does that whole course registration? And of course, we'll mirror that, I should say, for spring. So January courses, the registration begins sometime, I believe, in October. And so obviously I'll reach out to you saying, okay, these are the courses, you need to register for January and so forth. And it's now a very smooth process because we obviously have done it twice. Things are worked out, so to speak. Bugs are worked out. Okay, so just to
well, let me ask a question since they're not asking it.
Yes.
When you talk about one flat fee, the lowest possible tuition form, what would that mean for them?
It means if, and this is something that most students do not know, is that you will all be charged the Georgetown campus tuition rate, which is the lowest tuition rate for your respective courses. And that's what that means.
Okay.
Okay?
So we're still paying individually for each course, but at a lower rate. That's what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's only to the benefit of you, the student, because you are all year-long residencies. We did not think it fair to have a distributed tuition framework.
And our credits will remain the same for how they normally would then?
Nothing else changes, just the tuition
Okay.
rate. Absolutely. Okay. So recapping, verification list of courses, Praxis 2, special education, dual certification, graduation competencies, and eventual course registration. Are there any questions so far that I can answer? Okay, excellent. All right.
Oh, hold on. I thought somebody else was about to speak, so I didn't want to jump in on them. I just wanted to double check what you meant by the dual certification. So at this point, anybody with an undergrad is going to be dual certed at this point, or that's
yes,
what I want to check?
You have to be very cautious. And let me go. What my recommendation, and I'll preface all of this. Let me preface all of this. Reach out to your program advisor. So if you're undergraduate, if you're undergraduate birth to second, K to 6, or middle level, Dr. Boyd.
Okay.
If you are MEE or MAS, that's our master's folk, Al DiMedio. For our special education MSc candidate, it's actually the reverse. You are obviously dual certified, but you have to take a Praxis 2 content-specific examination. So this really, the focus of dual certification, to answer specifically the question, it is not automatic. And I say that because the state of Delaware has changed their regulation. So you want to reach out to your program advisor. What I can give you is what Dr. Boyd has clearly stated in his email to the undergraduate population. If you are in the K to 6 framework, you're not birth to second, you're not middle level, you're K to 6. You already have taken the coursework that the state of Delaware now requires for dual certification. But you must also take the special education Praxis 2 exam.
Okay.
And when would be the most beneficial time to take the exam? Just whenever we, like, could I take it over the summer if I wanted to?
Is this you're talking the special education Praxis
Yes,
examination?
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I would say the sooner the better. However, I would also just because I'm also on the licensure certification committee and part of the professional standards board, my recommendation to you would be to take it sooner than later, because there is talk amongst the state of Delaware already as to looking at the Praxis 2 exam for special education, cut scores, and things like that. So if you can do it over the summer, late summer into your fall semester, that would be my recommendation. Yes.
So don't take it like too early in the summer. I should wait until like maybe August to take it.
Yeah, it's not going to impact you in terms of your status, because realistically you're not going to graduate right until May, and because then that's when you'll have licensure certification. However, you wouldn't want to wait too long, because it does provide you a sense of eligibility for being placed in a classroom if an option opened up. Which again does connect to something else I want to state. I'm going to write this down, is because you can be paid for particular areas, and I'll get to that in a moment. However, yes, my recommendation would be around August. I say that would be a perfect, and a reason I say that, and this is Aaron, right?
Yes, sir.
Aaron, the reason I say that is because unfortunately, just like everything else, there's a cost to it. And
Right, and I've already looked at the prices for that.
right, and to save you a little bit money, wait till the end of the summer, or at least
Okay.
at least postponing spending that money, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Understand.
All right, very good questions. Are there?
Is it fine if you've already taken it and passed it? Is there any advantage to?
No, you're fine. If you've already taken the special education Praxis, you're done. You're done.
Okay, good.
So you said also to wait to register. So if you say the most beneficial time is to take it around August, when should I register for it? July?
I'm so sorry, Leah. Can you say that again? You went in a little bit in and out. Sorry.
It was Aaron, but
Aaron,
I
sorry.
said since it's okay. Since you said the most beneficial time was to take it around August, should I be registering for it in July?
Yes. Well, what you want to do is you go to the ETS website and identify the time frame for registration for the exam. It's always going to follow whatever time frame and whatever format. That's fine. Yeah, it's not so much our. Let me put it this way. In my purview, when you register for the examination is entirely up to you. When what you're comfortable with and your time frame. I would go with the recommendation as to when you're taking it for passage, definitely the end of August, absolutely. But when you want to register for it and when you want to sign up for it, Aaron, that's absolutely on your end, whatever you feel comfortable for, in terms of your own, time frame and so forth. That's up to you.
All right, thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. These are excellent questions. Please continue.
Oh, I actually have a question. This is Danielle. So because I'm birth to second, I have to take the early education practice and the content area practice, right?
So you have your content area Praxis 2 is early childhood education. Because
I don't take the other.
right, and if everyone can just bear with me for a moment, I'll actually bring ETS up, and not that you haven't seen it, you've probably seen it multiple times. In fact, you probably go, ugh, I don't want to see it again, but it's probably good to talk about it. So let me go in, I'll select the state of Delaware, which should be active and current within their Praxis 1 and 2 and Praxis Core. So content certification, here it is. And when you click on your certification area, it's slowly, but there it is, going to break down into the respective pieces and parts. So your birth to second grade, Danielle, your content certification area would be education of young children, correct?
Yes.
Whereas, and remembering here, and this is something I think everybody needs to hear, even though you probably heard it from me or others, but it's good to hear, is that your certification is your content area, okay? Meaning the coursework, your time, everything that you've done within the birth to second grade realm, that's your certification area. That's why you're taking the Praxis 2 in that particular content area. Your licensure is not the same as certification.
Right.
Okay, so yes, in this conversation that we're having, Danielle, you would do education of young children. However, when we're talking about then, there we go. When we're talking about dual certification, you have to be licensed in the state of Delaware within your certification area, have to take this education of young children, Danielle. However, if you would like to be dual certified, you would need to take this particular Praxis 2 as well, or okay, in addition to. And at the same time, because of Delaware's new requirements, you're going to want to talk to Dr. Boyd to ensure that your coursework that you've already taken has aligned to, meets the requirements of what the state of Delaware now is requiring from its candidates to be dual certified. So you have a couple of steps there, because again, it goes back to hireability. I know that's probably not really a word, but as a past principal and talking to principals, I know where I know what they're saying, and I know what HR directors are saying. So you really want to think this through as to your eligibility for employment within the public school systems, K to 6, birth to second. Danielle, does that make sense?
Yes. So I don't need to take the elementary education one though.
Not for your particular content area. Your content area is education of young children. Now,
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, I just saw online that it said I needed to take the other one in order to get my license.
Well, your certification is birth to second grade. So if you're looking at teaching birth to second grade, then you would do the content specific area. Now, and I'm going to confuse you right about now. Please, I don't mean to do that. Delaware is an interesting little state. You probably all understand that. The state of Delaware Department of Education currently, if I'm not mistaken, and Danielle, I'll check on this for you. I can reach out to the LCC board committee chair, and I can ask him if you, as a birth to second grade certification seeking candidate, this is where it gets confusing, okay? If you take the elementary education exam, will you be eligible for licensure and certification in K to 6? Now, the state they've changed a lot. So if you would allow me, and after we're done, I'll type an email out and send it over to my friend. His name is Chris Kenton. He's the committee chair for LCC. I'll ask him if anything has changed. And I know this has got to be confusing, and trust me, it's confusing for us who've been working on it every day of the week. There are options. For example, what we used to deal with special education was allow candidates just to take Praxis 2, and they could be dual certified. Now, the state has changed its regulation. That's no longer what we do. And I have a feeling, unfortunately, and from what I've been reading, that this idea of a candidate taking an additional Praxis examination to be certified in another area is no longer an option either. So, Danielle, if you give me a couple of days, I can get an answer for you and I'll respond, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. These are great. These are great questions. Don't hesitate. Now's the time to ask. All right. Let me jump back in. and we can continue on with our timeline of events. Obviously, we're meeting tonight. I'm recording this meeting, by the way. I probably should have told you that. Sorry, I jumped right into it. I am recording the meeting. If you really want to watch it over and over and over again, which if you want to, that's your pleasure. But it does and will be available to you. I'll send you the link and so forth. Along with this evening, I'll also compose an email which will recap a couple of things for you, send you some additional information. All right, beyond our meeting tonight, this is key. The principals at the different sites have already been made aware that on the week of February 22nd, and of course, we're going to talk about how this is going to pan out. You're going to set up a schedule to visit the particular site itself. Now that means it's a physical visitation, which means that you're going to need to communicate in a timely manner by two methods. You're going to email the principal, and then eventually you're going to make a phone call as well. And these are the right things to do with these particular administrators. And you're going to, clearly state your name. You're going to identify who you are, where you're from. I will send you a sample email that you could use. You just copy and paste if you want to. That's entirely up to you. And you'll just communicate as to, I'm going to come in to visit. This is who I am, so forth, X, Y, and Z. And of course, have the opportunity at this visit to not only meet the principal, but then also tour the building and then meet all of the mentor teachers, those who are associated with the year-long residency. Now, if you see a conflict with this week, it is essential that you let me know when you see my email. I'll send out an email tonight or tomorrow morning as to the letter, who your contact is. If you foresee an issue with that time frame, you need to let me know, because unfortunately the week prior and the week after, there's already a testing and systems testing meetings going on. There's so many other facets of preparation for testing that's occurring, and we cannot, as candidates, interfere with that schedule whatsoever. As you all know, these are very important times for these students in the classrooms and the teachers. So this week just happens to be the week. So just shoot me an email, say, look, I'm working, I can't do it, whatever. Let me know. We'll rearrange individually, and we'll try to get you into that time frame within, maybe the beginning of March. The mentor teachers already are aware that the week of March 14th, there are site interviews which will occur after school. So, and we're going to get in detail this in a moment. That week at each site, all of you will be engaging in an interview with the mentor teachers who are assigned to the residency. So, what that means is after about 3 o'clock, 3:30, when shop shuts down and the kids go home, we're going to set aside about an hour, and that's usually about what it takes, maybe about an hour and a half, depending on the number of individuals. And one-on-one, you're going to meet with the mentor teachers, and they're going to ask you particular questions. They're going to ask you about your own possible philosophy of education. They might ask you about what it is that you're going to learn or what you want to learn out of this particular experience. They might ask you about who you are individually. The reason why we're doing this, you as a candidate, once the mentor teacher picks who they want to be in their classroom, has to be there for 185 days. So it is a relationship. It is a connection between two people. And obviously, we want to try to get you connected to an individual that relationship is positive and proactive and works. So the interview, even though it sounds rather harsh, it's not. Trust me, it's very informal, and it's I don't want to say laid back because I don't want you thinking that you're going to come in jeans, okay? But it is informal enough where everyone is friendly, but they are absolutely looking at who you are as an individual, because the mentor teacher doesn't want to be aligned with someone who's not going to connect with them. So we will prep you. You'll receive interview questions. We will have another one of these types of meetings where we'll all get together virtually. We'll talk about the interview process. We'll talk about what you want to wear, what you want to say, how you want to look, those types of things in preparation for that conversation that will occur.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
My name is Lauren, and I'm just wondering, for the school site visit, is that done on an individual basis, or do we go in as a group?
It's individual. So each of you will be communicating to the site principal, the administrator of the building, and
Okay.
you will coordinate a time frame during that week that works for you, Lauren. So they're very much, I mean, the principals are understanding. They know everyone's got life and schedule here, but they are saying that this is the week that's best for them. And if you could please connect to the principal and coordinate a time frame for visitation. Now, some principals, and I will say, for example, Suzette Marine at North Dover, she's very accommodating, and she'll say, sure, absolutely. Let me know your schedule. We'll coordinate you. Come on in. And then there are other principals, knowing the structure of their school, and rightly so, they have this absolute right to do so. They might say, yes, come in this week, but please can you come in from 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock? Okay, so you have to be understanding that this environment obviously is a living, breathing environment that's we're producing children and education, and you all know this. I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, we're at their mercy.
Exactly. It's really up to what they want. And here's the gist of this. You're going to want to be free flowing here, folks. You're going to want to be absolutely yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and and just say, I will do what it is that you request of me. If I need to be between 9 and 12, I will absolutely be there between 9 and 12. Trust me, they're already sizing you up. The moment that you email them and you make that phone call, and the moment you step into that building, that principal is looking at you in three very distinct ways. A, are you a good fit for my building? That's their building. Everything that occurs in that building is theirs. I was a principal, guys. I know what I'm talking about. If there was a student teacher I didn't want a building, I got rid of them. Sorry, it's the truth. B.
And can I add?
Well, let me finish the three because I'm on a roll here. So A is, are you a good fit? B is, are you going to be a good fit for my mentor teacher? Because the principal is going to absolutely protect his or her staff. These teachers are like the bread and butter of the building, and that principal is molding them and kneading them, prior to putting them in the oven kind of thing, and they don't want anything to interfere with their teachers. And then the third thing is, are you going to be professional enough to be in that building, and are you going to exhibit a professional status or a professional demeanor so that you connect with the building and the faculty and the staff? Dr. Countley, please go ahead.
Yeah, and that professionalism is what I was going to mention, but I also want to say that when they do make contact, they should give the principal a week's notice. So the letter shouldn't say,
I'll
they
be in
shouldn't send the
tomorrow.
letter out on
Right.
February 21st, and I'm coming up tomorrow the 22nd. The principal should have a week's notice.
Right. In my email that comes out after our meeting tonight, I will detail as to your time frame and so forth. Like Dr. Countley is right. You don't want to wait till last minute here. You can't expect the principal. You're not going to email them the day before, folks. They're not going to respond to you. They will not. And if you call them the day before, they're still not going to respond to you. You are not.
So do you recommend sending the email, waiting a day, and then calling?
That absolutely is what I'm going to suggest in my email. And roughly, here's what I'm going to say to you. At the end of, I would say either end of this week, meaning this Friday, and or over the weekend, this Friday, you're going to email them. Okay, maybe even by Monday is okay. And then by Wednesday of that week, of the following week, you may call them, absolutely. That was going to give that principal enough time to look at the email, deal with all the other stuff that's going on in the building, okay? Look at your email, and please, folks, don't take offense to this comment. Give you the time of day, because right now, we are not a high priority, folks, okay? They love our system. They love the residency. They love all of you, and they want you in the building. But when they are dealing with a behavioral issue or other concerns, student teaching, year-long residency doesn't reach up to the day-to-day everything. So you've got to get in there early. So I would say by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, meaning like this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, shoot them that email. And then by Wednesday or Thursday of next week, you give them a phone call. They're not going to pick up. And if you get them, I'm surprised, okay? You're going to leave a nice voicemail. And then in about a week's time, maybe sooner, depending on the principal, they'll get back to you. Do not expect an immediate response. I mean, and I'm warning you that way because I don't want you to get upset when you say, Mrs. Marine at North Dover didn't email me back yet. She will. She will. Dr. Countley and I and the others, we know these principals very well now. We've spent 2 years with them. They are very busy folks. So they have a lot of things on their plate. They love you. Trust me. They can't speak highly enough of our residency candidates. They love you. They want you. But they're also doing what principals do on a day-to-day basis. So it's very important that we communicate effectively in a timely manner. And I'll break this down for you in the email that I send out. Okay, folks? Don't worry. I'll break it down so you know, email here, call here, and do this. Okay, questions?
Yeah, so the phone call later in the week, is that just to reiterate everything that was already stated in the email?
Absolutely. It is just another way of saying, hey, I'm a professional. I'm communicating to you in an effective manner. I'm introducing myself. And here's the other thing, and I know this sounds really harsh. I even have to do it sometimes when I talk to the administrators at the district office. I will send an email, and in like 3 or 4 days, I'll follow it up with a phone call and leaving a message. For a good friend of mine, I've got a great friend who's in the Caesar Rodney School District. I talk to her all the time, but she's so darn busy. My email pops up, but they don't have time to respond to me, and it gets lost, if you will, in the sauce. The phone call acts as a reminder. Oh yeah, this candidate's trying to connect with me. Let me get back to them. You're being courteous. That's all. And if you do have the opportunity to connect with the principal, turn on the charm, folks. Just hey, oh my gosh, thank you for accepting my phone call. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. My name is, and I'm so excited about getting to the building. I can't wait. Please let me know what works for you. X, Y, Z. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Again, the idea here is just to give them, we're giving them enough time to react. Okay. Week of March 14th is the interviews. Sorry, we did talk about that briefly in terms of your interview process. Again, we'll have another meeting like this to go over the interview process and so forth. All right. After the interview, the mentor teachers will say thank you. They'll send you on your way. The mentor teachers will sit, they'll chat, they'll identify who's best, and usually a day or two after the interview, They'll contact myself with Dr. Cantley, and then we let you know who's been assigned to whom. And it's as simple as that. From there, beginning in April to May to June, each site is different, and each candidate in terms of their connection with their mentor teacher is different. However, this is the time frame in which, if you have the opportunity, you can get into the site, start going and meeting with the other teachers in the grade levels within the school, and then also start, more importantly, planning for your experience come August. Now, this is where Dr. Cantley can really jump in, and Dr. Cantley, I'm going to just ask you to if you could just say a few words regarding that whole planning process between April, May, June, and towards the fall.
Well, they normally do a site visit where they get an opportunity to spend, try to have them spend a day and visit with the actual interns and talk with the interns and observe what the interns actually are doing. And then they'll meet and plan with their mentor teacher. They'll go over the actual coursework that we have, you know, the course outlines that we have for the what are they, the methods courses, and what they'll be doing and what they'll be working on over the summer. You know, if they're not familiar with Smartboard, teachers will probably work on having them start getting some practice with understanding the Smartboard. I know at least at Ritchie that's what we did. So there'll be a number of opportunities for them to meet with the candidate, meet with the mentor teacher, and really roll up their sleeves and start understanding what's to be expected and what's to come, so that they can be really clear about what's going to be happening before August.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Cantley. And this is true for all of you within your assigned placements after the interviews and so forth. It is a great opportunity to detail steps, actions, policy, procedure, everything that aligns to what you'll be doing when you come back in August. It will provide you the opportunity to get a good grasp on some of the structural designs of the school. And I'm not talking about the hard physical building. I'm talking about some of the day-to-day procedures that are required by the principal, administration, and the district. Like a good example here is attendance. I mean, you are going to be requiring to do all that good stuff. And it's such a good learning experience for all of you. I know that I probably am broken record, so I'll stop. I won't go on. But anyway, it's that kind of detail that will occur in this April to May timeframe. Now, I know that, as you all know, that the teachers have off during the summer. However, these teachers who are part of the residency, these are not your typical average cooperating teacher. These are very special individuals. They are dedicated to the profession. They are dedicated to who you will be as a co-teacher. And I want you to know that most, if not all, are going to ask you to come in at least one day during the summer to sit down, go over curriculum, planning, so that you are very much aligned to what is the expectation for that particular school. So I do want you to expect that.
And I might add, Tyler, that they will probably be given the curriculum guides.
Oh, yes.
To take with them to review over the summer, because they have to be familiar with what they're going to be teaching. So they should be expecting that they'll actually get that kind of information. And then we'll also give them the student teaching handbook, the year-long handbook, so that they'll be familiar with the expectations also for the practicum part of it and the student teaching part of it, and they can follow
absolutely
what's required.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Calendry is absolutely right. All this information will go out to you, like I said, this evening or first thing in the morning in the email that I'll be composing to each of you. So I'm going to try to promise to keep it in an hour. It's at an hour right now. However, I do want to leave open the time frame to answer any questions that you may have, and also to provide you any guidance as to any of the items that we talked about. So please, it's an open forum. So does anyone have any questions at this time?
Yeah, this is Anastasia. So when should we have our background check and the child protective things all in?
Thank you. You know what? And I wrote that down and I forgot. I'm so sorry, Anastasia. Okay, here's what all of you should do the following. Your residency is going to start obviously in August, okay? And you are going to fall under the protection, if you will, of your current CBC, TB, and CPR for practica, because all of you submitted those things for practica, and they hold firm. So you do not need to resubmit anything until December. And now the reason why is if you resubmit your brand new criminal background check, tuberculosis, CPR, and the health authorization form in December, it will hold firm for a year's time. So after you're done in May and you graduate, you will have an active criminal background check, CB, TB, CPR, and health authorization for employment within a district that coming fall, because it would not go past the year's time frame. The trick is here, when you go and complete your criminal background check at the Delaware SBI for submission in December, you'll get 2 envelopes. You probably remember this. You get 2 sealed envelopes. Keep one of them sealed, because you could use that for the Delaware Department of Education and the district that might be hiring you. Does that help, Anastasia?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. It's Lauren again. So just for clarification, is there so when we do the school site visits and the interview, is that our in for this year long, or is there still a way they could say as the mentor teachers yay or nay if they want us as student candidates?
And that's a great question. A mentor teacher in any capacity could say no to any student. That's a realization, folks. Whether you were a year-long residency candidate or if you were a regular student teacher. Unfortunately, we've had that experience where we've had a typical, if you will, nobody's typical, but if we had a typical or traditional student teacher went into their classroom, met the teacher, and that day the teacher did not want that particular individual in their classroom. They have every right to do that. We have, and Lauren, so to answer your question, we have trained, and that's really not a nice word either, we have provided professional development to enough mentor teachers at their respective sites that if there is by chance a mentor teacher that did not want a candidate, there is an option for another teacher to engage and work in a residency with that candidate. But we all have to be realistic here, okay? That mentor teachers could say no. However, they have not done that as of yet. Not at any of the sites, no one has ever been denied. Everyone has. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dr. Kelly.
I just wanted to say, and we intend to prep you so that won't happen.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Now, are there, please continue. I think I interrupted somebody. Is there a question?
in addition to what was just being said, to just go off of that, if we're in like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job right now, should we keep this job for as long as possible, or should we start talking to our employer about possible leave? Like, how sure is this?
Oh, Aaron, now, yeah, I would say, sorry, excuse me. I would say by March, by the interview at the March timeframe, you will know from the interview, like one day after the interview process, you will know. However, I am confident enough in saying, in talking to almost all of you, meeting definitely all of you, our candidate base who participate in the year-long residency are the type of individual that are dedicated, committed, and connected to this program. Like I said, we have not had anyone who has been denied, Aaron. And so I would say, with confidence, everyone will get accepted, unless there are some extenuating circumstances that we really aggravate, anger the mentor teachers. All right. I mean, we really would have to come across in the interview horrific, folks, because these individuals are understanding. They all know that you're newbies, that you're neophytes, that you're just starting. You don't know everything. They're not going to come at you in this interview and think that you know everything. What they're looking for is this person humble? Is this person understanding of what it means to be a professional? What they're asking in their heads, could I see working with this person for an entire year? And basically, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so I don't see, like, knowing the most of you, I don't see an issue with that. However, to be clear, yes, Aaron, you're probably going to have a conversation in late February to March with your employer, and be frank. Say, this is something that's coming up on the horizon. Starting in late August, when the mentor teachers come back, and you'll know when they're going to come back. We'll get you their calendar, and they'll tell you exactly, Aaron. You'll know the start date. Then you can start communicating as to, okay, what are my steps? What I have to ask for leave, or what it is that you'll be doing as to your current employer.
Okay, because I've spoken to them pretty much as soon as I got hired here almost a year ago, because I knew that this was what I wanted to do. So they're kind of aware of the possibility of me leaving for this, but they're also the kind of people who will put it off until I speak to them again. So I don't want to wait too long, but I don't want to tell them and then have nothing happen.
Absolutely. And you know them well better than I. Obviously, if I was going to say to you by March 16th, if you knew, would that be a time frame enough? So, okay. And it's a great question, Aaron. Please, that's a very good question. Are there any others, please?
So I have a question. If it's Danielle, if we know that we're going to be gone for like a couple of days in the school year, should we be letting the mentor teacher know about that?
Absolutely. Do you know how many days you would be away?
I am out of the country the first week of September for a wedding, from the 30th to the 6th.
Okay. So very much like a teacher, when we talk about this as well, and your mentor teachers will explain this to you, you are just like when you get sick as a teacher in the public school system, you have so many days off and so forth. The mentor teacher will be accommodating and understanding. Here would be my suggestion, though, Danielle. We don't want to lead with that conversation.
Right.
Okay, you're going to want to not really talk about that right away. especially
Until the summer.
yeah, right. Especially at the
Wait until.
you don't want to bring that up at the interview. Let's put it this way,
Yeah.
because and these people, they're humans, they're human beings. They're just going to sit there and go, oh, and I'm going to be on. I'm being honest with you. You're telling me in a timely manner, excellent. I'm telling you, you want to hold off on that information. Let's get through the interview process. And then once the interview process is and done, you sit down and we get to know your mentor teacher. And we can say to the principal, look, Danielle's got this particular holiday or, vacation's coming up because of a wedding. It is what it is. It's been pre-programmed, pre-planned, X, Y, and Z. Most mentor teachers are going to go, oh, yeah, we're all humans. We have these events. They do too. You're going to, listen, folks, you're going to be in these systems and you're going to be at the classrooms and your mentor teacher is going to be sick for probably a day or two. And you're going to be in total control. So, don't expect that not to happen. They're human beings too. They've got children. Most of them have children. They're going to be absent one day, or multiple days. I'm sure Dr. Countley can attest to that. And and you as the co-teacher, you're going to be there. You're going to be expected to stand up, take control of the ship, and keep on sailing. So please know that it's the reverse. They know you're human. They know you have events in life and people. So don't understand that. What we don't want to do is we don't want to make it a habit. It's one event. We understand, Danielle. That's fine. But don't want to stretch it out into anything else.
Right. And that's something that you would share with your supervisor, your supervisor and your mentor teacher, at the right time, and that's why I'm saying at the August, after you've been there and you've met and talked with your mentor teacher and you've established a relationship with the mentor teacher before school starts, you can share it. But right now, as Tyler has said, it's not the time to share it.
Right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Daniel. Okay, other questions?
So it's Erin again. Just to, again, go off of what was just being said, like if we do get sick and, it wouldn't be wise to go in, we will not be penalized for it in any way?
Oh, not at all. Not at all, Erin. Listen, the 20 of you, all of you are going to get sick. Just expect it. Okay, you're going to get the flu. You're going to get probably ringworm. Okay.
I don't know about that, but maybe pink eye.
Maybe, yeah, pink eye. Yeah, we'll go with pink eye first, folks, and then you could go to ringworm. Listen, you're going to get sick, and you're going to miss some days. This is absolutely natural, and you will not be penalized in any way, shape, or form. Okay.
Do we have a sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Do we have like a specific amount of days like regular teachers do? Not to say that I'm anticipating on using all of them, if any at all, but I want to know everything that I can.
Yes, absolutely. It's very much structured to what the school district uses as the number of absences, if you will. Again, and like anything else, like a good principal would do, they begin to monitor absences. And if it becomes obviously repetitive in nature, things like that, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to bring it up. So, I'm not, and again, that's just the nature of the game. You want to obviously know that you're going to get sick and it's okay, and you don't want to come in when you're sick and blah, blah, blah. We all definitely live by that motto that it's okay. When it becomes repetitive in nature, or worse, you start coming in late and things like that, those are red flags to any teacher and to any principal. But to Erin, yeah, you have what the district utilizes in sick days, if you want to call them that.
Right. Okay.
But for sick.
So, yeah, no, I'm.
Yeah. Because the longer you're out, you lose your relationship with students. So,
totally, yeah.
It's when you need it, you take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and will we be informed on how to professionally go about that after we meet, the people who are in charge of the school wherever we're going? Like,
Absolutely.
do I inform the principal as well as my mentor teacher?
Absolutely. And Dr. Countley can speak to this because she's obviously a supervisor. So the supervisor who is assigned to you and your team at the site will go over every one of these little details that you're talking about, Aaron. Some of the finer granular stuff, like you're talking about, like who do I call, who do I email, who do I tell?
Yeah.
No, and that's okay, Aaron. No. Your supervisor will go into those specifics and get down, and you're going to look at all the little details like that. Absolutely. But you are right to ask that question, and I'm glad you did, because that's the
Okay.
supervisor's responsibility.
And then, and there's a summer meeting that we'll be meeting, and we'll talk about all of that too.
That's right.
Okay. I just don't want to feel like I'm walking in blind is all.
No, oh no. You,
No.
yeah, you will not be. Trust me. It'll be information overload probably.
Okay, perfect.
All right, folks. Well, it is 15, 16 minutes past. If by chance you think of a question or you have any other additional concerns or worries that you want to share and you just wanted to do it offline, please email me directly. And then obviously, as you know, I try to be as responsive as I possibly can, and we'll get you the answer. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to say good night to all of you. Be very much happy to talk to you again if anybody needs anything. And if I could, if Jason Carpenter, Jason, are you still online with us? I think he is. I'm going to ask that Jason stay on if I can. I'd like to talk to Jason specifically. And Joshua Holt, are you still there?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Excellent. Okay, so Jason and Josh, if I can ask you to just stay for a few more minutes so we could talk about a couple of things. Everyone else, have a wonderful evening, and we will talk soon. You'll see an email from me. I'm going to do it tomorrow morning, quite frankly, because I'm going to relax this evening. I'll email you out in the morning, and we will talk soon. Have a good evening, folks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. So Josh, and is it okay to call you Josh?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Josh, I know that tomorrow you have a scheduled meeting with Donna Mitchell.
Yes, sir. I was actually a little bit concerned about that because of the coming snow.
Yeah, I think we're all just getting sick of it, quite frankly. Can't take it anymore.
Spring to pop back up.
Very much so.
If weather permits, yes, I will be meeting with Ms. Mitchell.
Okay, excellent. So what I wanted to talk, and I don't know if Jason can. I don't know if Jason can hear
looks
me.
Like he's on his phone and it's muted, so I don't know if he can or.
Yeah, I can't unmute him. He's muted himself, so maybe he's having some difficulties. But anyway, let me bring it to this point where so we have Joshua. I've got you down for obviously Kent County. You're the MSc candidate, obviously, that I was speaking of.
I did see that when you kind of.
Right. Well, and of course, see, the beauty of this is you are going to be, as well as Jason, one of our candidates who are going to be going into the secondary level, which is obviously a pilot for us, and that's why I wanted to speak to you and Jason specifically.
Very excited to be a part of that pilot program.
Oh, it's excellent. I mean, it's just phenomenal, and we're very excited too. So the issue here is, Joshua, is placement. I've reached out to, and here, let me bring this up for you, and I can bring you up a little. You can see on the screen here where we're at. I've got you down for Kent County. And I've initially, right at this moment, our conversations are with Cesar Rodney and Capital School District. Specifically, what I think the best placement would be, and this is just my opinion, and I think it's Donna's opinion as well, is Dover High School.
I was thinking the exact same thing, sir. And I think also, if I might add, I think Jason is also online, and I'm pretty sure he's unmuted at this point.
Oh, yes. Jason, hey, how are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good, good, Jason. Thanks for staying. I appreciate it.
No problem. I just, I have you muted because I'm actually giving my kids a bath, so. Yeah.
Jason, it's okay. I'm a father of four, a single father of four, so I totally understand. So what you're looking at here then is first, Josh, we're going to look at Dover. I've reached out to our contacts at Dover, I mean, not Dover, Capital School District, Dr. Henderson, who's the assistant superintendent. She and I have been in brief conversation. What we're waiting on is confirmation from the principal at Dover High School. And then from there, he and I and the other assistant principals and Dr. Henderson will have a sit down and we'll start talking about pathway. My concern, of course, for you and Jason as well, is the timeline. I don't particularly see the timeline that I presented this evening to be the same as the others. And the reason being is because we're still in conversation mode with the district. Jason, you're a little bit different because Polytech has already reached out to me and they seem to be more communicative and willing to interact and talk about next steps. And if I'm not mistaken, obviously, Jason, you're working there now as well, right? so,
Yep.
that tends to help. So Josh, what our next steps here is, if by February, that week of middle of February, we don't have the meat and potatoes connected, if you will, to Dover High School, I will let you know as to when your specific, you individually, will reach out to Dover High and make that connection with the principal and so forth. Does that make sense?
Of course. Yes, sir, of course.
And I'm glad you understand that, because what we want to do here is be accommodating and flexible to their schedule. But once we get in there, so far, I mean, the response to the year-long residency, especially at North Dover, which is in Capital, is just perfect. What it takes here is, unfortunately, what I tend to do all the time, which is get on the line and talk to the principals and try to communicate this. So as soon as, and I got to do exactly what I was talking about in the meeting tonight. You know, I've got to send an email, and then a couple days later I phone them up as well. And I know these people. I know them. They know me. It's just they're busy. They're busy individuals. So we're going to make this happen for you, Josh. It's just a matter of making those pieces all fall together. So if it's not by the February 22nd, if it's a week or two or three later, I don't want you to worry.
Okay.
It's going to happen. Going to happen.
I had a real quick question.
Sure.
I kind of like I was gonna email you, but since I've got you right here, basically to myself, I figured I might ask you. I think we went over this when you were in Miss Dolan's room a few weeks ago, but I just wanted to double check now. Now I'm in the MSc program, of course, and my goal is to teach social studies from 7 to 12, and I have my bachelor's in history, and I'm planning on taking the Praxis 2 for social special education by the beginning of March, and I was going to attempt to take the Delaware requirement of the social studies praxis at the high school level, so I could teach high school and below.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully before the start of I was going to do it before the start of the year-long residency. Now, because I'm going to be placed in a social studies classroom, does it necessarily matter which Praxis 2 I take first?
No. As long as you designate to us that is the content area in which you will be taking the exam. The issue here is and revolves around the alignment of the placement to the examination. So, for example, if you told us you were going to do social studies and then you went ahead and took the math, praxis exam, obviously, then, DOE would go bananas because your student teaching is not in the content area. So it's really, it is one of those quirky little things about, licensure and cert. But yes, you're fine by doing that. That's not a problem. As long as you know that social studies is where it's at, and that's the content area, and we know that we can place you in a social studies classroom, or most likely the way that I foresee this happening is that you'll be assigned to one particular teacher at the school, obviously, but I have a feeling you'll probably work with the entire team, which will be
That would be
oh, it'll be, I know, I'm even going, oh, this is awesome. So, but the idea here in terms of your examination, yeah, that's perfectly fine, Josh, not a problem.
okay. Excellent, excellent. And yeah, I think that should be. That was the only question I had, I think.
Great. Now, Jason, I just happened to be reading the email as well that you sent to me this evening. You're saying that it has math behind it, but now your business, right? Seeking business as certification, and I have that on my sheet here. So and maybe it's pulled off incorrectly from our system during the intake interview initially when you came in. But my understanding is that at Polytech, that's where we're focusing our efforts, is to get you aligned with the business end.
Okay, yeah, that's great, because the actual coordinator stopped me in the hallway the other day and asked me, he said that he was told math and business. He basically told me, which one are you? I was like, I'm business.
Yeah,
So
very good. Good. Well, I'm glad you reiterated that to them. Excellent, excellent. No, and that's fine. You took initiative. That's good. So essentially now, and Jason, you're working there now. Is it part-time, or what is your? I remember you emailed me, but I couldn't. I didn't get everything. Are you working all day? What's your time frame?
Yeah, I'm working all day. I'm long-term subbing for someone who broke their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there every day, and they have 4 periods a day, and one period is planning, and then the last period of the day I'm co-teaching, but that co-teacher doesn't always need me, so I use that as an additional planning period.
That's great.
Great paper.
And you are. I mean, I know that that's why we wanted to reach out, but very much using that for your practicum, please. I'm hoping that you're using your current long-term sub. Yeah, please do so, because that's that's the excellent way to do it. So,
yeah, the meetings and such, yeah, I'll use that, but unfortunately, I haven't had my placement yet, so I don't. I don't know what to do with that.
Well, no. So your long-term sub, what is the content area for the long-term sub?
It's science.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Jason.
It's science, integrated science.
Okay. So what we need you to do, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reach out to Wooten, Andrew Wooten again, and I'm just, because I've been waiting for him to respond, is my hope is that he can just get you into, while you're there, obviously during your substituting, and while you're there, why leave the building? Let's just get you aligned to a business classroom so you could complete your 50 hours there. And that was what Deborah Wiley and I wanted to do with Andrew, and I've reached out to him so that you don't have to go anywhere else. I mean, you're there working part-time. Why not also be able to get in the hours that you're required for practicum? So I think that'll work. I'll reach out to Andrew tomorrow again. I'll give him a call, see if he's I'm sure he wouldn't, I don't see why he would say no to that. And in terms of our time frame, very much like I was saying to Josh, let's see what Mark Dufendor and Andrew say as to coordinating the time frame for visitations and interviews and all that, because they've got to reach out to particular or respective teachers and so forth as to who is going to be interested in facilitating the pilot for the business the business year-long residency, because you, just like Josh, would be the very first at the secondary level for that particular content area.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I absolutely appreciate you staying after. I know I asked you to stay a few more minutes, but I just wanted to cover those bases with you. If anything else comes up, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to get back in touch with you folks. Okay, guys?
Of course. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Jason. Have a great evening, okay?
You as well.
Thank you,
All
too.
right. Thank you.